Welcome back to the Palmetto Report. I'm Raegan Carter, and we're now joined by Carlo Dawson, the current Poet Laureate for Rock Hill. Dawson served as an educator for the Rock Hill School District for more than 20 years, teaching creative writing, art, and journalism, and she currently serves as the Dean of Student Leadership. Dawson is also a published author and is the founder and director of the nonprofit The Power of Progeny. Carlo, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so first, can you tell us how you became the Poet Laureate of Rock Hill?
Well, a lot of hard work. I will tell you, I actually applied for the position. So just like anything else, you apply for it. And you have to really show that you have a good, outstanding body of work, that you've also done things within the community, and also show how you want to use your platform to help promote poetry and really promote literacy. And it's something I dreamed about.
Yeah.
It's something I dreamed about, and I didn't know if it was attainable from being a little girl and finding out what a poet laureate is. I only thought about U.S. poet laureates. Never knew that our city would have a city poet laureate. But when it came to the city, and our first poet laureate was Angelo Jeter. And so when it did come to the city, I knew that I wanted to apply for it. And so I applied and did all the things, and I'm very grateful and honored to be the Rock Hill Poet Laureate.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like when it came to Rock Hill, like it's somewhat rare for a city to have a poet laureate. There's only 3 others in South Carolina, like Charleston, Columbia, Greenville. What does it mean to you to have one in Rock Hill?
It means everything. It really means that our city values poetry, values the power of poetry, the power of community, the power that poetry has to bring community together. And from all the way to 0 to 99, just to show that poetry is important. Yeah. So it means everything. And I've had a chance to meet our other poet laureates as well, or poets laureate as well, and they're dynamic.
Yeah. Can you tell us what a poet laureate actually does? Like, what does your day-to-day look like?
Well, a poet laureate is the official poet for the city of Rock Hill. So we could do anything from being commissioned to write a poem for the mayor or for the city council or a city office, all the way to going to schools and promoting poetry and workshops, K through 12, our college campuses. I had the opportunity, literally today, I was at a school, a middle school, doing a poetry workshop all day today. And it was wonderful just to pour into young people and just really show how poetry can be used to uplift them, to save their lives, to show how writing is in everything that they do and see and love. So definitely doing that. Also doing community service, projects with poetry, and any kind of efforts to promote poetry within the city. And another thing I get to do is I get to also mentor the Youth Poet Laureate as well. So I love being able to give back to our budding poets as well. So that's just a few things that I get to do.
That's wonderful. That's so wonderful.
Yes.
Is there a poem that you've written for the city that you think about often, or is like one of your favorites?
Well, I did have the opportunity to write a joint poem for the MLK celebration, and I did that with the Youth Poet Laureate, and it was Always On. That was the title of it. And it was really cool because we got together and really collaborated on that, and really it took a pretty good bit of time because being very intentional, I had to be very intentional to include important monumental pieces within the city. So having those allusions to different things within the city. And the Always On is really a play on one of the mottos that the city of Rock Hill has. So that was a wonderful opportunity to do that. And another thing that I really enjoyed is I wrote a poem. I was commissioned to write a poem for It was honoring the 144. It was for an ancestral African American burial ground. It's in the outskirts of Rock Hill, and I did that last year. And that was powerful to be a part of. I think that's something that's probably very meaningful when I'm commissioned to write for pieces that are very heartfelt. And I really do feel honored to just be a fly on the wall, per se, for some of these historic moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a true testament to how powerful writing is as an art form.
Absolutely.
It connects you through history, and it connects you to all this community. And that's just,
Yes.
that's lovely. I love that.
Yes, yes.
And you've been an educator in the arts for many years. How does that affect your work?
Wow, you know, I went into education. I tell you, honestly, I knew I wanted to be a writer. I actually told the students this today that I mentored. I wanted to be a writer from the moment that I was bullied. And I saw how I was bullied for befriending those that people often didn't befriend. And so the pages of my journal, that's who I talked to. And I knew that when I started to read poetry, I said, that's what I'm doing. I read Maya Angelou's poetry and her book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And I saw that she was selectively mute as well. And so in public, I didn't speak a lot. And at home, I talked all the time. But that allowed me to see how poetry saved my life. And so I went to school to be a writer. I majored in English. And then I went back and became an educator because I knew that writing saved my life and I wanted to give that back to students. And so I've had the opportunity to see how writing has just saved the lives of so many young people and so many people I know. And so being an educator, it's really been everything. And I actually have some pieces that I've written. I have a piece that I've been working on for years now, The Missing Voice. I do a one-woman show, The Missing Voice, for educators and for students, just to give voice to what young people feel. And I also am writing a poetry book with that, just so people can see themselves within that.
Yeah. You mentioned like helping young people like find their voice and like find joy in like the art that they're making. So, and you said today that you did a workshop with middle
Yes.
schoolers. So do you find that young people are interested in poetry, either reading or writing it? Do you find some pushback, or do they accept it with open arms?
Yes. Yes to all of those. Yes to all of those. But you know, having taught creative writing, I taught creative writing over 20 years. I know all the answers. So I know some people love poetry. Some people are kind of hesitant about it. And I always tell people, you just haven't found your poem yet. But the thing is that we see poetic elements in all kinds of things that we see, that we hear, in the music that we see, on the movies that we watch, in the commercials. So, you know, once people kind of, I guess, open up their themselves to that, they kind of realize, oh yeah, that's right. I think once, and also I think once young people get the opportunity to see, well, I don't have to write incomplete sentences when I write poetry. And really you get to play around with the language. I mean, just think, you can say that the sun is a dog. And it works in poetry. So I think, you know, just being able to create worlds, I think once young people realize you can play around with words and language and lines and all of that, that's when you start to see their minds open up. And that's people in general.
Yeah, absolutely. In that vein, what can Winthrop or just college students in general, what can they do to preserve like the community arts that you're fighting so hard to preserve?
You know what's interesting? I actually see a lot of that already with young people. I really do. You know, when you think about spoken word and all of the opportunities that young people carry with that, I see so much online on Book Talk, right? You know, TikTok. Just you see so much of it already online, and I feel like, you know, what happens in each generation is people take their own poetic license, their own agency, and they make it their own, right? Each generation takes poetry and makes it their own. And so I already see that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just to continue that. And I think the other part too is I think we do a great job of learning who people call are the greats. I think it's also important to take the opportunity to learn about the current poets that we have among us in our society, because you always have poets who are writing and preserving the history, because that's what poetry is.
Right.
And I was telling the young people today that one job that will be around forever will be a storyteller,
Yeah.
a poet. You have to have somebody preserve the history. So I think just being able to study those poets who are published now and really getting out there and publishing as well, I think that's how we keep the legacy going.
Yeah, you're so true. Like that's so right. I think that is so inherently like ingrained in our nature, and that is something that, like, you're exactly right. We do need to preserve that. Talking about like community and preservation, just tell us, what is the power of progeny?
The power of progeny. So progeny came to me in a dream. The acronym stands for Pioneers Reaching Out for the Greater Elevation of Our Nation's Youth. Say that 10 times. And so actually, really in my first year of teaching, I had where young people came to me and they wanted to start a party organization. And I said, we can't just start a party organization, guys. Let's try to think about something deeper. And so we started talking, and I said, why don't we do something to allow people to be seen? So this was about 25 years ago. And I think that little girl in me wanted to be able to give that back to young people after being bullied.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we did. I remember those first set of students. They are all grown, very grown. And they've become friends, now. And just to see where they've evolved. But really the organization is about giving a sense of belonging and leadership through the arts. So through the power of story, through the power of writing and literacy, just allowing people to know that there's power in your progeny or your lineage, your birthright, who you are, who you're meant to be. You are already powerful. So just tap into what you already have within you. And so we do workshops, camps, and we also promote a community teacher of the year as well as a community student of the year who is really doing civic engagement as well.
That's beautiful. I love that. So we're kind of wrapping up here. Is there, what have you been doing for National Poetry Month? You've got an event coming up. Just tell us about that real quick and let the people know what's going on.
All right, so National Poetry Month, I've been doing a poem a day online. So check that out. I've been doing that on social media. Also been doing workshops at different schools. And on next week, it is Poem in Your Pocket Day. So we'll have Poem in Your Pocket Day in Rock Hill on the 28th. And so that's where I'll have different poets who are going to schools. I'm so excited. Some of our local Rock Hill poets will be going to schools and reading some of their poetry, just to highlight some of our great poets here. Also this Sunday, I will be having an open mic. So make sure you all come out. You just have to be 18 and older to come. So that is where anyone, if you sing, if you rap, if you have stories, and of course share poetry, or you just want to check it out, that will be at White Street Station at 5 o'clock, and that will be on this Sunday. So those are some of the things for Poetry Month that I'll be, facilitating. The other thing, though, as far as some of the things coming up beyond that, I have on May 17th, it will be through Rock Hill. We will be actually celebrating the South Side of Rock Hill. Really, there's a kickoff for the South Side Cultural and Music Trail in Rock Hill.
Oh, cool.
So you'll have these different stations where people can learn about the culture and the music of Rock Hill. And the kickoff will be on May 17th. And so there'll be a Poet Laureate program from 1:30 to 2:30 on that day. It'll be at McGirt. But also throughout the whole day from 12:30 to 5, it's just going to be a wonderful celebration of community and the arts. So you're going to have visual arts, storytellers, a free concert by the orchestra, and they'll be highlighting African American history.
Cool.
It's just going to be dynamic, and so that'll be going on. And I'm trying to see if I'm leaving anything out. A camp. So Power of Progeny camp will be coming up this summer as well. And so that will begin the last week of June, moving into July. And that's where young people will get to be, again, learn about leadership through the arts. And we're going to have local artists. So we'll have we have an international illustrator who will be coming to speak. We have visual artists, we have poets, all pouring back. Young people will get to go on field trips, and they'll get to learn about leadership. So all of that's going on, and I have more. But those are just a few things.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to be able to give back.
That sounds so wonderful. And thank you so much for taking the time to come speak to us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Raegan. Thank you for having
you.
me. And I'm so grateful to Winthrop as well for having me.
You.